Guys, welcome to CC2MD. Today let's talk about community college class difficulty. Sit down, take out your notebook, listen to a lecture, take some notes, perhaps attend a lab. You'll probably get some announcements on some exam dates as well as some project milestones and some deadlines overall. So it all seems pretty routine, right? So why is there so much misconception between what the difficulty level is? So something I think I should address right away is expect professors to not have time for you. That's pretty contrary to popular belief, right? You hear a lot about these four-year institutions really not caring about their students, so you think at a community college that might not be the case. But it actually really is the case. The reason why I said these teachers are actually not going to have time for you is because they have different challenges compared to a four-year institution. A lot of these professors at a four-year institution have a lot to deal with in terms of huge lecture sizes, right? But at a community college, it's a little bit different where the main issue that comes in is the fact that a lot of these teachers are actually adjunct faculty, which means that they'll have 2 or 3 different other colleges where they have classes in, as well as probably having 2 or 3 different classes within that same college. So to you could just be a passing phase. So although the challenges may be a bit different between getting some face time at a four-year institution or a community college, that's one thing that you'll struggle wherever you go. You will have to deal with the fact that these teachers really won't have the time for you unless you go out of your way. However, one thing that does differ is actually the class size. So although these teachers might have a lot more classes at a lot of different places, the class size is significantly smaller, which means that a lot of the time you will have more of those one-on-one interactions with them. However, if you don't step out of that zone, you most likely will not get acknowledged by them. So try to get out there and try to go and actually meet professors, because you're in a smaller classroom setting, so it will only get harder from there. It's really important that you do so because you rely on these people to get letters of recommendation, to join some research. There's a lot of extracurricular activities that are only available if you talk to some of these professors. So remember, just because you're in a class of 40 to 60 people, it doesn't mean you'll be known. So really try to get yourself out there and make yourself known. The classrooms might be 40 to 60 people, but that doesn't mean people will know you. You really need to go get out there and really have these people know your name, know your face, know the fact that you're involved, because these teachers have 3 or 4 different other colleges. So make sure that you use up the fact that you have that small class space in a community college to actually get involved and actually know the person. It's a lot easier than at a UC where 200, 300 people, that might be it. You'll just be a face, and it's a lot harder to actually be remembered. So I think one of the most interesting points is actually the content. Is the content easier at a community college? Is it harder at a community college? I'm here to tell you that it's actually the exact same thing. So me as a pre-med student, I was taking organic chemistry, and I'm also preparing for the MCAT. And one thing that I'm realizing is the MCAT knowledge for organic chemistry is the same from a community college. So wherever I'm at, I'll know that the organic chemistry that I learned at a community college can be applied everywhere else. I actually talked to other students that have moved on to other four-year institutions about the content, and they say it's relatively the same. Now, there are other factors which we will talk about, but for the overall big picture, it really is the exact same thing. Now, where things get a little bit interesting is actually the course curriculum. The course curriculum is a little bit interesting because I kind of feel that at a community college, you do get a little bit more fluff. There are a little bit of these sprinkled in extra activities. I feel like lab reports are sometimes graded a little bit easier. I just feel like there's more participation points overall. So I feel like if someone were to tell me class is easier, I would say definitely not in content, but they might have a point in some of these classes in terms of that fluff for the grade. But that's from class to class. That could definitely not be the case at a community college, wherever you may be at. That could definitely be the case at a four-year institution. So that's just from what my personal experience has taught me. But yeah, that's kind of what I noticed. So depending on your four-year institution of choice, one thing that's really crucial to understand is you're going from a semester system to a quarter system. This is by far the hardest thing that I know that everybody that is transitioning has to go through. That semester system tends to feel fast when you're in community college, but things really do pick up when you go to a four-year institution and you realize that things are being learned at a faster pace. So by far the biggest difference between a community college class and a four-year institution is actually the semester itself. The fact that you go from a semester system to a quarter system. A lot of people describe it as maybe going from a community college's winter semester or summer semester, which is traditionally shorter, and then transferring that, maybe just extending that just a little bit, and then adding 2 or 3 more classes in there. That's why a lot of people find these classes a lot harder. So again, I do believe that the content is the same, but the fact that you just go at a way faster pace makes that content maybe feel a lot harder than what it really is, compared to maybe at a community college where you have a lot more time to digest and really get familiar with that knowledge, and you really get comfortable with that. Now, one thing to consider is also that the courses are a little bit different. At a community college, you're kind of fulfilling these general ed courses, these lower division courses, where at a four-year institution, you're going to go ahead and finish up these upper division courses. So the content that you might learn at a four-year institution might not be harder, but might be way more in depth than at a community college where you learn really good foundations. So that's something to keep in mind, where the content might be completely different. You might be doing biology at a community college, but that biology is nothing compared to the depth that you're going to be going when you do cellular pathology, etc., 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 at a four-year institution. So keep that in mind, because those are 2 different levels of content, where one is really foundational. Doesn't mean it's easier or harder, but one is foundational and the other one builds upon that foundation. So the reason why I wanted to create this video is because if you're a community college student and you're scared of transferring just like I was, don't be. The content you learn won't be any harder. There will, however, be a lot of adjustments you have to make with timing, the way you study, the way you do things at a faster pace, but we will get through that together. So those were my thoughts for community college class difficulty. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys next time on CC2MD.